Hello and welcome back to Obsessive Preparation. Today I want to do a quick video on storing mashed potatoes for your long-term food storage. Now there is a difference between your long-term food storage and your pantry food storage. Now it's something like mashed potatoes that have no fats in them whatsoever. You can get a shelf life 25-30 years on your potatoes. Now something that has your fats in them, fats and oils, are not going to store nearly as long. So what we're going to discuss today is long-term food storage on mashed potatoes, showing you the difference, and then giving you some hints on what I do. Over the years, I have purchased my potato flakes in number 10 cans, primarily through the LDS cannery. Right now they are shut down because of the situation going on in our world, and they've just got the stores closed right now. And normally you can order it online. I will leave the links down below, but they are completely sold out. And I just had this conversation with one of my subscribers, Mary Gallagher, and she sent me the link, so I'll leave that down below. I don't normally purchase from the online store because I have a cannery close to me and I don't like paying that freight, but she said she's purchased from them online and their prices on freight are very reasonable. I have a can of my Honeyville potato flakes here to give you just an example of what it would look like in a can from the LDS cannery. Now you have the options to buy it from Honeyville, Augustin, Thrive, places like that. I actually really prefer the LDS cannery's potato flakes. They are great and they store for a long time, and I've used the heck out of them. But I am completely out, and I went Tuesday, the store was closed, and I was bummed. Now this is what the LDS cannery products look like. These are my oats that I purchased, and I probably got, without exaggeration, 20 cases of oats in number 10 cans that I have purchased through the years, and I am on my 2013 product, and these oats are amazing. They store well. So, you know, this is another alternative for you to purchase, but if you can't get to an LDS cannery, you don't want to pay the freight, we're going to talk about canning our own. So I want to do a quick comparison on the Betty Crocker mashed potatoes and doing it on our own versus being able to get something like the number 10 cans at the LDS cannery or whatever site you have that you're looking at. Now I don't know the other prices, I just know the comparison prices on the LDS cannery. Now a mashed potato from Betty Crocker is 34 servings for a box. The price on it is give or take about $3.50. Now I'm in Arizona, I purchased at Winco, and that was the price. Now 34 servings, they consider a serving a third cup, and then once it's cooked is 2/3 cup. So we've got 34 servings for about $3.50. Now at the LDS cannery, their number 10 can of mashed potatoes is 39 servings, so a little bit more. Third cup dry weight and 2/3 your cooked weight. So you're getting about 5 more servings from your LDS cannery. So you can go online and purchase for $47.30 a case plus their freight. And like I said, Mary Gallagher had said that she's purchased it and their freight is relatively reasonable. So our potato flakes from the LDS cannery break down to $7.47 for a can. Now the problem also with the cans is they store great, don't get me wrong, but once you open up the can and you've spent the price, you can't reuse it, you can't reseal it. Now you can use the plastic lids and store other things in it, but it's not going to be airtight and you can't use them for long-term food storage. So that's why I keep pushing more of the mason jars. Now I know mason jars are getting harder and harder to find, especially with what's going on. You have to look around and they're getting a little bit more pricier. Now I purchased half-gallon 64-ounce mason jars at Walmart for $3.98, and the price has gone up considerably. They come with the lid and the ring. And actually, to give you warning, lids are getting harder to find. So if you can find wide mouth, regular mouth lids, I suggest for you to pick up some boxes of those. But in the half-gallon jars is what I'm going to put my mashed potatoes in. And that will store just as long in your mason jar as your number 10 can. That is if you put it in a closet, dark. You don't want sunlight on it because your sunlight breaks down. When I say sunlight, I'm even talking about your room light will break down your product. So you want to have it in a dark closet. The best conditions is give or take between 75 and 80 degrees, and you can get a 25 to 30 year shelf life on it as long as there's no fats or milk product in it. Another thing that I quickly want to show you is you don't store it in the boxes. Again, this is a mashed potato box, and they do not put it in any kind of plastic, mylar packaging. It is just loose in this box. So you're looking for your bugs and rodents to gnaw through it, to crawl through it, and destroy it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what a box will go into. So I've got my half-gallon jar. See if I can do this without making a mess. And I'm going to go ahead and tamp it on the counter. And by tamping it, you're going to knock it down, get the air out of it, and that way you can put more product in your jar. So one box fit in 1/2 gallon jar and then a little extra into the other jar. Well, I'm all done. I finished up my 5 boxes, fit into 5 half-gallon mason jars with 1 quart extra overflow. Or we can consider it as 11 quarts of mashed potatoes. Now, like I said, one number 10 can of mashed potatoes from the LDS cannery is $7.88. Whereas if we do it in the half-gallon mason jars from Walmart and the box, we're looking at $7.48. So you're about 40 cents cheaper to go this way, but you still, in the long run, get more potatoes by the 6-pack from the LDS cannery because of the serving size. So if we add on another $7.88 from the cannery, so you're almost apples to oranges, probably a lot less when you consider in the freight factor. Now, if you can go to an LDS cannery, by all means, it's probably the cheapest, not by much, but what I like is that about apples to oranges, it's cheaper as far as I'm concerned because you can use your mason jars over again. That's the beauty about mason jars. You can use them over and over again. Now, all I have to do is take my lid to my mason jar, make sure my top's clean, come over here, I'm going to put my lid attachment on, push canister, and we're going to seal our jars. I always want to show you your different options of mylar bags, oxygen absorbers. You can always do it in bags and put them in something like your bucket with a gamma lid on top. These are things that you can do and reuse, or put your potato flakes in a gallon-sized Ziploc and put it in your gamma buckets. But on the shelf, when you put it in jars, let me show you here, your air's out, put your date on your lid of when you did it, your product, and then that way you can look at it and you can rotate it. It's one of those things where if you're not using it and rotating it, you have no business putting it away. There is a certain percentage of long-term food storage and let's say freeze-dried foods that I plan on never touching. Hope to gosh I never have to touch them, and it's just a loss to me, and down the road if I'm dead, somebody can get worried about getting rid of them. But something like this that you can feed your family with, I highly recommend putting it in jars, putting it in your visual sight, and then keep rotating. I also want to remind you that if you're storing mashed potato flakes, you're going to need some kind of fat when you go to cook them. And so oils is overlooked, lard, different oils, butter, ghee, things like that to have in your food preps that you can put in your mashed potatoes. You also, the recipe says just water, but I've always used cream or milk in my potatoes with my butter. And something like an evaporated milk on your shelf for your food preps works out great. Another thing is if you want to go more long-term food storage, you can purchase something like Honeyville's butter, and then this, you put water in it, it reconstitutes, and then you can add it to your other products or even use it dried. So just remember, when you're storing things like this, you have to store water, you have to plan on water. Don't look at just what your daily intake of water is for the day, but what you're going to have to use to cook your food products. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. And if you want to be notified for future videos, ring the bell, and please share my videos. I'm still growing out there as many years. I've been doing this for how many years on YouTube, and still like to grow my channel. Have a blessed day. Boxes of the Betty Crocker. Almost dropped that jar.